Ladies and gentlemen, the pictures we are about to show you are disturbing. They are not the sort of pictures you want to see when you're probably eating your dinner. But this is the reality of the country we live in, the society we live in. And it's only fair on our part to show you what happened to a young woman, a 16-year-old girl, a school girl actually, who studies in class 10. We can't show you her face, she's a minor. What you're probably seeing is just some white stumps. I'll tell you what they are. This young girl, all of 16, has lost her hand, has lost both her legs. Do you know why? Well, because she was pushed in front of a moving train while she was on way to her coaching center. Who did this? Two men who had been stalking this young child, this young girl, for the last many days. The girl's family goes to the police, registers a complaint with the police. The Uttar Pradesh police, in their wisdom, decide to do nothing about it. Not even summon these two gundas, these stalkers, these murderers to the police thana. Many of us can say what happened next was then expected. These two men know the route this girl takes every day to her coaching class. She's in class 10. What do? They stalk her at the railway station. There's a train coming in, and they simply push her in front of this moving train. Who does that? Who does that? The girl's condition as we speak is very critical. She's fighting for her life in hospital. She has lost her left arm. She has lost both her legs. Are they solely responsible for this girl's life though? The cops are equally complicit in what has happened to this young girl. The victim's family had complained about the two boys to the local police, but they decided not to take any action. Even when this shocking attempt to murder came to light, the Bareily police reportedly called it a case of suicide after a love affair went wrong. It was only after the minor girl's relatives filed a complaint against two people that the cops were forced to file an FIR. Two people have been arrested, including one of the accused and his father as well. Taking cognizance of this absolutely horrific incident, Uttar Pradesh's chief minister has ordered the suspension of 3 officers, including the cop in charge of the local police station. The chief minister has also announced 5 lakh rupees as compensation for the victim and directed authorities to provide the minor with proper medical care. Let me go across to this young girl's father, Ramesh Kashyap. He's joining us live from Bareily. Ramesh जी नमस्कार, हमसे जुड़ने के लिए धन्यवाद. सबसे पहले तो बताइए कि आपकी बेटी का इस समय हाल क्या है?
बहुत धन्यवाद मैडम. मेरी बेटी का इस समय हाथ बड़ा खराब है मैडम. इसके दोनों पैर कट चुके हैं.
तस्वीरें हम देख
चुका है मैडम. कोचिंग जाती थी पढ़ने. कोचिंग से दोपहर 2 बजे गई थी घर से और लगभग 4:20 तक घर पर आ जाती है. कल मेरी बेटी 4:20 घर पर नहीं आई थी. 4:30 बजे मैंने इंतजार करा. मैंने सोचा हो सकता है मेरी बेटी की साइकिल खराब हो गई हो, जिस साइकिल से जाती थी. फिर जो कोचिंग के मास्टर पढ़ाते थे फिर उनसे मैंने जानकारी ली तो बोले कि यहाँ से ये लेकर गई है. फिर मैंने घर पर नहीं आई. फिर मैंने तलाश करा, अपना परिवार से सबसे बताया था. सारा परिवार लोगों ने तलाश करा, लड़की नहीं मिली. लड़की जो थी विजय मौर्य, एक लड़का है विजय नाम मौर्य, उसने मेरी बेटी के लिए मथुरापुर पड़ती है फाटक, रेलवे फाटक मथुरापुर फाटक पड़ती है। वहां से उसने ट्रेन से धक्का देके रात में लगभग 8:45 ट्रेन से उसके हाथ पैर कट गए थे मैडम। लड़की ने बहुत प्रयास किया मगर लड़की नहीं बच पाई। थोड़ा उसके हाथ पैर कट गया, हाथ भी कट गया, पैर भी कट गया मैडम।
रमेश जी ये बताइए, ये जो दो लड़के हैं, ये आपकी बेटी का पीछा कुछ समय से कर रहे थे, 2 महीने से कर रहे थे। आपने पुलिस में
हाँ, मैं
कंप्लेन की,
5-6
उसके बाद क्या हुआ हमें बताइए।
मैं पुलिस में मैंने कल दी थी मैडम। कल
हम्म,
पुलिस में कंप्लेंट मैंने कल की थी। जैसे मैंने कंप्लेंट करी तुरंत पुलिस ने उन लड़कों को उठा लिया। तुरंत लड़का उठा लिया उसे,
अच्छा,
अपने
मैं
ले
आपसे
लिए।
मैं आपसे मैं आपसे पूछ रही हूँ रमेश जी कि ये जो लड़के हैं आपकी बेटी का कब से पीछा कर रहे थे?
4-5 महीने से।
आप लोगों ने पुलिस में कंप्लेन की थी?
नहीं मैडम, पुलिस ने नहीं सोची। उसके पिताजी से कहा था।
किससे कहा था आपने?
लड़के के पिताजी से।
अच्छा, उसके बाद क्या हुआ?
उसके बाद वो बोले अब दोबारा शिकायत नहीं मिलेगी, दोबारा कोई शिकायत नहीं मिलेगी। नई लड़की मेरी इंटर कर रही है और दोपहर की कोचिंग थी, एक कोचिंग सुबह की थी, एक कोचिंग दोपहर की थी मैडम। 2 कोचिंग थी इसकी। ये लोग 5:30 बजे और 5:45 लड़की इन लोगों ने लापता कर दी मैडम। बहुत ही तलाश करा था हमने।
आपको क्यों लगता
लगभग
है
40
आपकी को आपको क्यों लगता है कि आपकी बेटी को ट्रेन से धक्का देकर इस तरह से उसके साथ जो हुआ है वो हुआ है? आपको क्यों लगता है उसको चलती ट्रेन से धक्का दिया गया है?
मुझे ये लग रहा है कि लड़का था विजय मौर्य, इसने ही मेरी लड़की को मारा था।
ठीक है रमेश जी, मैं आपसे फिर पूछ रही हूँ। आप कह रहे हैं जब बेटी को छेड़ा गया, बेटी के साथ छेड़छाड़ हो रही थी, जब उसकी स्टॉकिंग हो रही थी तो आप लोग पुलिस के पास नहीं गए, लेकिन आपने पुलिस के पास कंप्लेन तब की जब आपकी बेटी कल घर वापस नहीं आई, राइट?
हाँ, घर वापस नहीं आई तब करी थी। जब लड़की मेरी घर वापस नहीं आई तब मैंने पुलिस में कंप्लेंट करी थी
ठीक
मैडम।
है, अच्छा। और तब पुलिस ने अपनी कार्रवाई की और 2 लोगों को अरेस्ट कर लिया।
हाँ, 2 लोगों को अरेस्ट कर दिया।
चलिए रमेश जी, उम्मीद है कि आपकी बेटी ठीक हो जाए। उसके हमने देखे हैं लिम्स तो कट गए हैं इस एक्सीडेंट में। लेफ्ट हैंड has been amputated.
हाँ हाँ
Both the legs have been amputated in this absolute tragedy that has played out. रमेश जी, हमसे बात करने के लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। थैंक यू वेरी मच। विक्रम
मैडम
सिंह इज एक्स
मैडम
डीजीपी उत्तर प्रदेश joining us on। जी बोलिए
जी जी
बोलिए बोलिए बोलिए।
मैडम एक मिनट मेरी बात सुनिए मैडम। मैं ये कहना चाहता हूँ मैडम, ये मेरी लड़की का जीवन हो गया बेकार। जिस बेटी के 2 पैर नहीं है, एक हाथ नहीं है मैडम, मैं चाहता हूँ मेरी लड़की के लिए नौकरी मिले सरकारी। उसे लगभग 25 लाख रुपए का दान उसका मिले सरकार की तरफ से। 25 लाख रुपए मिले, ऐसे नौकरी मिले, प्रधानमंत्री एक आवास मिले मैडम इसके लिए।
ठीक ठीक है ठीक है रमेश जी, एक और हमको रिपोर्ट मिली थी और क्योंकि ये घटना आपके साथ घटी है इसलिए हम बिल्कुल सच जानना चाहते हैं। आप मुझे बताइए कि
जी जी
क्या जब आपकी बेटी के साथ जो हुआ उसके बाद क्या पुलिस ने आपकी एफआईआर दर्ज करने से मना कर दिया, ये कहते हुए कि ये एक
ना ना
लव
नहीं
अफेयर था और आपकी बेटी शायद सुसाइड करना चाहती थी? ऐसा हुआ था या नहीं हुआ था?
ना 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 नहीं, ऐसा नहीं हुआ। नहीं ना ना, पुलिस ने बहुत मदद करी थी मैडम मेरी। पुलिस ने, डीएम साहब ने, कप्तान साहब ने और दरोगा जी ने, इंस्पेक्टर साहब ने मेरी बहुत मदद करी थी। डीएम साहब 3 घंटा रहे मेरी बेटी के पास में। आज कप्तान साहब 3 घंटे रहते मेरी बेटी के पास में। उनने रोल था, मैं अस्पताल भर्ती करा था
ओके,
मैडम। प्रशासन ने मेरी मदद करी है
ठीक
मैडम, सरकार ने
है।
मेरी
रमेश
मदद
जी,
कर रही है।
आपने बात जो
मैं
है,
सर
ओके
मैं
ओके
सरकार से ये
ओके,
कहता हूँ मैडम,
ठीक है। आपकी आपकी जो अपील है वो उम, नौकरी दे दें, आपकी अपील जो है उम्मीद करती हूँ सुन ली होगी। रमेश जी, धन्यवाद जुड़ने के लिए, क्योंकि आपने हमें बताया है सच जो आपके साथ हुआ है। जो रिपोर्ट्स हमको मिली थी वो रिपोर्ट्स क्लियरली गलत थी। हमको रिपोर्ट मिली थी कि आप पुलिस के पास पहले गए, आपने कंप्लेन की, पुलिस ने कुछ नहीं कहा। फिर जब ये हादसा हुआ उसके बाद पुलिस जो है उसने कुछ नहीं किया, बोला कि ये तो लव अफेयर था, लड़की
नहीं नहीं,
सुसाइड करना
ये
चाहती थी। लेकिन ये भी गलत है, आप
पुलिस ने
हमको
बहुत
कह
मदद
रहे
करी है
हैं।
मेरी।
सो ठीक है। हाँ, आपकी पुलिस ने, उत्तर प्रदेश पुलिस ने मदद की है, आप हमको बोल रहे हैं। सो वी
मदद
लेट,
करी।
थैंक यू वेरी
हाँ,
मच फॉर
मदद करी
ज्वाइनिंग
मैडम,
अस।
ये सच्चाई
आपने
कह रहा हूँ
हमको
मैं।
बताया कि सच्ची तो सच्ची पिक्चर जो है आपने हमको दी। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। उम्मीद करते हैं कि आपकी बेटी जल्द से जल्द ठीक हो जाए। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका हमसे जुड़ने के लिए। सो लेडीज एंड जेंटलमैन, इट सीम्स दैट द रिपोर्ट्स वी हैड गॉट from the ground were erroneous. The fact is that it was alleged in those reports that the Uttar Pradesh police had failed in its duty. What the father is telling us is that they had not failed in the duty because the complaint was never filed while the girl was being stalked, A. And B, when he went to register the complaint after this barbarity took place, the police duly noted the complaint and arrested the person. At no point did they say that this was a love affair gone wrong, which is why the girl tried to commit suicide. So we stand corrected here on Mirror Now. The reports, as I said, we got were erroneous. But what has happened to this girl needs to be focused on nevertheless. Vikram Singh is an ex-DGP, Uttar Pradesh, joining us on the broadcast. Uba Subramaniam is a co-founder and director of Rati Foundation. She's joining us on the broadcast. Vikram Singh ji, we know that the Uttar Pradesh police has done what it needs to have done. So there is no police laxity that we are talking about here. But you're seeing the pictures. The horror of the story, the brutality of the story is in front of you and is in front of our viewers as well. As someone who's been involved in law and order for most of your life, what do you say when something like this happens? When a 16-year-old has absolutely no hope? Absolutely no
Shreya,
hope.
Shreya, good evening. A heart-wrenching tragedy which was totally avoidable. The two goons who were psychopaths and perverts, they could have been contained at the very moment that they started off their one-sided smitten love affair. But that wasn't to be. And I would still blame the police because in the rural place and in the policing today, it is not possible to conceal or hide any stalking. There is a system of beat information in the police department where every smallest thing is monitored and reported to the police station. And those antisocial elements who are about to commit a crime, as in this case, they are brought to book and brought on active list, a register known for those criminals who are on the verge of committing a major crime. Then they are also brought to the police station and counseled to contain themselves. And the police are there when in Uttar Pradesh, the security of women folk and the girl child is the topmost priority. This seems to be a serious lapse on the part of the local police station not to have intervened and checked these perverts in the first stage itself. These perverts are known and their physiognomy, as they say in Hindi, chehra pad lene ki kabiliyat. If the inspector does not have the capacity to read the faces of perverts, then he has no business to don his uniform. It is his job to identify every such pervert and give him the fear of God. As they say in the police, aisa keh raya ki aashik ishq bhool gaye. If the police know what the job is, no pervert would dare
But
look at a girl child like this. But they did, and they threw the child on the railway tracks, and the tragedy has happened.
Vikram Sim, can I ask you? There are many people who are watching this broadcast and who are watching this tragedy unfold. They will ask, but how will the police know? The girl's parents didn't go to the police. They instead thought that since the matter is of two, of local boys, let's just go to their father. Let's just go complain to the father and the father will deal with it.
Precisely.
Did the parents err as well in not understanding till which extent the boys will probably go?
With the greatest of respect to the survivor's father, I would still say that this needs to be looked into. It is highly surprising in a rural area in a major district of Uttar Pradesh that they would not go to the police. Somebody must have gone or may not have gone. But I feel that Mr. Ramesh, rightfully so, is distraught and is extremely stressed up. But this needs to be probed also. Now, the fact of the matter is that if they did go to the boy's father and complain, that is sufficient reason for the police to keep their antenna high and understand what is going on, what the undercurrents are in the village. It's an important village, and it was the job of the police to understand what was happening and then ensure that these two behave themselves. The age of the girl is just 16, and these two are men. And therefore, all the more reason that the stalking was absolutely unnatural and stuck out like a sore thumb for any alert and vigilant beat officer and a police officer. I think they were totally oblivious to the developments, and this avoidable tragedy happened, Shreya ji.
Okay. Uma Subramania, would you want to come in here? Is there a lack of understanding, as far as most of us are concerned, about just how dangerous a stalker can be?
Absolutely. I think this episode is a brutal reminder. It's a brutal reminder of the price that young girls and women in this country pay for not just speaking up, but it's the price they pay because of inaction. And I say this inaction because inaction leads to impunity. What these perpetrators did, what they went ahead and did, is because of the inaction to begin with of their own folks, not to check them, not to correct them, not to reprimand them, to go behind the 16-year-old. And then the inaction of the larger systemic forces that Sir correctly pointed out, because that emboldens these perpetrators saying, kuch nahi hoga, nothing is going to happen. And the other thing which is critical here is if a 16-year-old is being watched and stalked for the last 5 to 6 months, are we really listening to our children and our victims? Because most of the times, even our experiences, when you go to a police thana to register a complaint across the board, what they really look at is this complaint worthy of being registered? Is this worthy of investigation? Is the crime really, aggravated enough? Is this a love affair case? Is this the victim young or old? I mean, these are the lenses, at least at the ground level, that we see the system start applying. Now, once you start looking at that, a stalking case like this might not feel very important. You might feel, ye to picha kar rahe hain keval. But because of the inaction, because nobody took cognizance and made it a point to correct what was going wrong, this could have been prevented, And if you look at what the victim did, she did everything by the books. She told her parents. She must have, made sure all the preventive measures were taken. Yet, she became a victim of this. So I think it is an absolute testament to the fact that the systems do not act, and that causes our perpetrators to become more and more confident. No matter how strong our laws are, if we don't implement them on the ground, they are not going to make the lives of our girls and women better.
We'll leave it there for the moment. Thank you very much. It was important to highlight what has happened in Bareily, ladies and gentlemen, because as Uma says, stalking needs to be taken seriously. Be vocal about it, speak as loudly as you can about it, because the last thing you want is any other girl, young or old, to go through what this young woman, young girl, young child, young student in Uttar Pradesh is going through. We'll leave it there. Uma, thank you very much. Vikram Singh, thank you very much for joining us as well. On that note, I'm slipping into a quick break on the show. Up next, we are focusing on the Israel-Hamas war, where the death toll now stands at 3,600. It is day 5 of fighting. All the details from there coming up. Do stay with us.